Alrighty, hello everyone. If it is
Hello.
not immediately prevalent, I am recovering from a virus, but the show must go on, and I mean,
He has the corona.
yeah, not well. I say not yet,
He
but I can't really
he
confirm
drank
or
he
deny.
drank too much he drank too much beer. He got the corona.
Yeah,
The beer.
dang. But I mean, we're coming off of the drafts for Mythos season 1, if I'm not mistaken, and
Yes, one. We've already had season 0, but that's, ancient history.
hmm But I mean, just coming off of the draft here, I mean, gives us an opportunity to talk about the drafts, the players, how the teams are shaping up, and kind of the thoughts from that. So, I mean,
hmm I
might as
think
well take the opportunity. I mean,
we can start with the big guys and we'll work our way
yeah,
down.
Empyrean, the higher up of the I keep wanting to
Once
say
once
divisions.
I mean it is
It is
divisions.
technically
They're
division,
sorted
yeah.
the same way. Empyrean is the equivalent to in most leagues to Division 2.
hmm
They're at the point where I think it's like what?
Masters 3 and above.
Yeah, it's just Masters 3 plus.
Yeah.
The ranks are high enough that it's just Masters 3 plus.
hmm
Let's start
Let's
with
just do it in order from
Vermin
how it shows
here.
up. Yeah. So let's start with Vermin. Just take the opportunity, show off all of the players that were drafted to them. They have some of the higher ranked players in the server, with, if I'm not mistaken, two champ players in
They
Yukaro
have the
and D
only two
Lord.
champ. They have the only two champs in the draft. They were able to draft both of them.
Yeah, and I mean, they have a pretty good lineup when you first look at things. I mean, you have three supports. It's always nice to have because you'll have at least, you'll have your main support, you'll probably have your flex support, and then you have a player that can come in and sub in for matches if needed, who maybe is going to be comfortable on both that main and that flex support type of role. But they also have two flex players in the sides of Sunziwal and D Lord, who I would likely expect to probably be splitting time as tanks. As, I mean, right now, currently, the only player minus them who has tank as a potential role would be the door. And depends
Uh,
because it's either the door
Door.
and Yukaro for your DPS side, and you
Uh,
go for one of the flex.
Door got traded.
Oh,
Door is one of the guys that got it was the only guy that got traded. Jake took his place, if I remember. He's on Suko. If you want to go pull up Suko real quick, you can go pull up
let
Jake's
me
card. Or I
see.
can. I got you. I'll pull up his card.
Ooh, yeah, they went from there to Solus. Or sorry, I bet.
It's
Let me
the
look.
the rat.
Oh yeah, so Jake being a DPS and tank, that makes a bit more sense as, oh well, still they are still DPS and tank. So despite the fact that Door was traded over, um, the player taking their place, basically being Jake, um, also plays tank and DPS. So it'll be interesting to see if you're going to end up seeing Yukaro and Jake as the DPS duo for this
Yeah.
team, with one of the flexes going over to take on the role of a tank, or if you're going to
Mhm.
see Jake going into that tank role more primarily and then having one of the flex players go over to DPS instead.
From what I know, D-Lord is really mechanically there. Um, I mean, it's expected considering he's one of the only two of the two champ players, that being D-Lord and Yukiro, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Uh, so if we have Yukiro and D-Lord here, and then we have Jake as well, I don't remember what tanks Jake plays. So it's hard to say where that would overlap. We might see split time just on hero pools.
Yeah, that
I
is
do I
possible.
I do know that Suko is the one who initiated the draft or the trade.
Okay.
Suko's the one who asked for the trade. So Suko really wanted doors, so I'm really interested to see how that's gonna go.
Hmm. All right, fair enough. So I mean, with that, we could go over to emits next. Be interesting to see how Vermin adapts over time, though. They're one of the teams that it's kind of hard to make a verdict on right away, just because
Hmm.
there's still gaps in their composition where you don't look at it and you're immediately like, oh, okay, this person's starting, this person's starting. There's definitely ways that people might get moved around in terms of
Yeah,
starting roles or bench or, you know, all those type of things.
yeah. Ahmet's team here
I had to mute to
has some
cough.
here. Ahmet's team here has some pretty flexible, as you can see. We have three flex players and then a tank and support player. So we have a lot of flex with what we can play and swap up depending on who they're playing into or what map.
Hmm.
There is actually some word going around about Custom Shadow, the guy here who FM'd this team, um, spinning a wheel to decide this team.
Okay.
Like not even as a joke. I believe he actually did spin a wheel.
Interesting.
Although, from what I know, Wolf plays a lot of Sigma and is probably one of the best Sigmas in the division. So I definitely could see where they would go with that, playing into comps that support it.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I'm curious to see if they're really going to plan on having Wolf be that lockdown tank option, despite the fact that Wolf is listed as a flex player, or if
Hmm.
they're going to have Wolf and Puckies kind of swap time as tanks. Um, Interesting as
I
well. They only have
I'm
one.
not I'm not sure how. I don't know Wolf's like full hero pool. I just know that they play a lot of Sigma
Mm-hmm.
and are pretty good at them. So I definitely could see Wolf getting a lot of play time on like Circuit Royale, maybe
Right.
into a more pokey comp on like Lijiang Control Center, where they can take advantage of that height and hold and have someone hold it.
Right. Uh, Along with that, I'm interested just to see how this team's going to be built. How, like, what players are going to be your opening day roster? Because, I mean, Hope and Custom Shadow both are supports. You have Puckies, who's also a support. So, in terms of support, you know you're going to see Hope, Custom Shadow, or Puckies. Jaybird and Bruh being on the flex, it's going to be interesting to me. I have a feeling that out of the two, you'll likely see the option that gets selected probably is just going to be the player with a more diverse DPS hero pool because they
Hmm.
really only have one lockdown DPS only player in stealth. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm interested to see because again with these type of graphics, just because someone says they're a tank support player like Puckies for an example, just because they might be that role doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be stuck as a tank support switching player the entire time. It's possible that some teams are going to look at it and say, hey, well, we know you have that tank capability, but we really like your Ana gameplay.
Yeah.
You're gonna be basically your Ana player, despite the fact you're listed as someone who can also play tank. So,
Yeah, I actually have some experience with that. In Nebula last season for Andromeda Horizon, I was a designated tank player, but we had a tank DPS flex, and he just ended up playing DPS for a while. Just DPS every game. DJ ended up playing a lot of DPS.
mhm. But yeah, no, I'm curious
Alrighty,
to see
I
how it'll
think
work out for them because I feel
yeah, yeah.
what we have
I
here is going to be
think
nice, but I think you're going to see these titles
I'm
are not going to necessarily be reflective for what type of heroes or, roles they'll play for the entirety of it.
yeah, I am really interested in looking at Loki's now. I've heard some pretty interesting things.
Okay, yeah.
How about that Loki
I can
team?
add a little bit to Loki's, especially with one player, but they've got a pretty good
So
mix.
yeah, from what I'm seeing in the notes here, and I also remember looking into this a bit. Riptide is both a Nebula. He's Div 2, isn't he? He
Yep,
was Roll
Nebula
Star, I
Div
believe.
2 tank roll star, so
And then
primarily
he
played
was
tank.
also and then he was also a coach Roll Star for Div 3.
Yep.
So
So
I definitely think that's gonna be a pretty insane combo since it's a really good tank plus a really good coach as the same player. So
it's a
I
bundle mix.
definitely, yeah, I definitely could see the playmaking potential like in a game. Just being able to kind of put those pieces together.
I can see it as well. The part that I find interesting for Loki's is I feel like a lot of these players are going to be really good and there are a lot of strong players, but I feel like they might fall into the trap of drafting based off of skill or mechanics as opposed
Yeah,
to drafting in a set type of composition so that you have a role set up
I've
properly.
noticed
Because they have,
I've noticed that in a lot of the lineups from the players that I do know that there's not much synergy into what they play.
yeah, they have like four
Not
different
necessarily
roster
at Empyrean,
DPS.
not necessarily Empyrean, but especially in like the lower divisions, which we'll get to later. In my opinion, it's a big problem.
Yeah, I feel like for them right now, like they have four roster DPS, one of them being someone who can switch between DPS and tank. They have three
But they already
tanks.
have tank support. Yeah, they have
Yeah,
three tank players.
three tanks, three DPS, one support, one flex. So I feel like
I don't think we're gonna see Riptide. Wait, we can't see Riptide. Actually, Riptide's not gonna be able to play tank here
Riptide is going to
unless they
likely
swap
be
out.
forced to play support unless they go for a trade and maybe go to a different team that has an abundance of support or flex players to potentially look at Riptide being a tank option if that is the route that they want to go. Because
Mhm.
in the current state, Riptide is just going to be stuck in support jail. Even with
Yeah,
Whimsy as a flex player, Whimsy as a flex is the only other person that can show up for support. And that's also another concerning thing because if you only have two support players and one of them doesn't show up, what do you do?
you can't.
Because you
You can't
have
play.
nobody you have nobody you can rely on as another support. You gotta make
You're
sure that
gonna
these
have to
two are
rely on
available
ringers.
24/7
Yeah,
or go
you're
for
gonna have to
ringers.
rely on. Yeah, which is really inconsistent.
And if you're relying on
Um,
ringers that heavily, it's arguably better to look at
just draft
revamping
one of
your
the.
team to
Just
draft
trade one
that
of the ringers
player.
at that
Yeah,
point.
trade
At that
for
point, just
another
trade a
player
ringer.
or bring in the ringer themselves.
All right, we're on Icarus now.
Yes. Icarus, I look at them and they have the opposite problem that Loki had. Where Loki had an
I will
abundance of
say with
players in specific
Icarus,
roles, Icarus just has all flex and then support and DPS.
Icarus is the last season's winners. Icarus won last time. It's the same FM being forgetful. However, his team is now scattered across the division, so we should see a really interesting switch up.
Mm-hmm. I
Uh,
mean, they
they're
have
very flex heavy. They're,
very
as you
flex
said,
heavy.
it's the opposite issue where they're very flex heavy. Although I can easily see this working really well since they're all flex. Like they can literally completely swap up the comp over one map. Like they'll just like they get next map and they completely swap up the comp.
Yes, but I can also see where that can be a detriment at times. Because if you're playing, and I'm just gonna use names, kind of throw examples out there. If you're playing as a
Mm-hmm.
team and you're thinking, all right, I'm used to Chizakina being my primary tank, and you're Spaznik or Icarus, and then next map comes
Regardless,
in,
but yeah.
whoops, um, but the next
I'm
map
just gonna give you
happens
shit.
and it's Jagora and uh
Yeah,
almost a different
I
team
can see the
setup with
issue.
players with different play styles. That'll
I can
become a
see
problem.
yeah. I can see it being a problem, but I can also see it being a problem for the enemy team. If
Right.
these guys stack comp, like if five of them are able to get together out of the seven in like Q comp, and then the other they'll swap out the other two and try up all the comps, I think it's like a double edged. Like as you said,
Mm-hmm.
it's difficult for the supports or the DPS to kind of get a feel. But if these
Yeah.
tanks play on a similar wavelength, I think it'll be fine. Or if it's like, Agaros has a more dive centered, like part of their map pool is more dive centered, so they'll play the dive centered with Cheese, and
Mm-hmm.
then like one of their tanks plays more poke with like Sigma, so they swap to their poke picks of their hero roster. I think it can work, definitely, especially since they can hyper specialize people into the roles that they have. Like
Right.
they play all the roles, but within those roles, they only play a certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they can train specifically for that one thing rather than having to spread out their hero pool to be as accommodating.
Yeah. No. Very true. It'll be interesting to see. I think Icarus will be a fun team to watch. I feel for them, they might end up working out in a way where they have almost a core that primarily work together with rotating pieces around it. Like you might see Spasnik and
Yeah.
Icarus, however their name is pronounced, because I'm going to keep messing it up, um, kind of being like this tight knit, really compact duo type scenario where they know how each other play, they both play, and then they can kind of use that to then deal with the rotating pieces around them potentially. But that's
Hmm.
just theory crafting as always.
Yeah.
Next up's arrows, and
Katniss, our favorite Torb one trick who only plays tank.
I mean,
This is the guy who in last season was able to get, I think, a triple with Torb Hammer.
dang.
Yeah, he got Nano Wu Yang ulted. It just pulled out Hammer and went crazy.
Mhm. Now, I find it interesting, right? Because you mentioned like just going off of the card as well. Midget lover only good on tank. Even though they say flex, I feel like Tetanus is going to likely be a tank DPS kind of mix more often than not.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't ever see
curious.
I've played a lot of tryouts with or like pugs with tetanus in it because he loves to show up to those and they're really fun.
Mhm.
Um, I don't ever see him on support. He always gets picked up pretty early into the pugs. Like he's like usually first or second pick every game, and he always ends up in DPS almost every pugs.
Right. So I have a feeling you're going to see Doom Guy probably put on the support jail because outside of that, you have three DPS in a tank. With Tetanus being a
Hmm.
DPS tank mix, that only leaves Doom Guy to potentially fill in that support role that is missing. You have, you know, the G channel. That's how I'm going to say it. It's going to be wrong, but that's how I'm going to go for it. Um, you have them as a support. It's similar to
Channel.
Loki's Deceit. It's similar to
The
Loki's
site.
Deceit.
The site. I was
I
going to
was
the rulebook, buddy.
I heard what you were saying and it mixed my brain up.
The
It's
site.
the
I mean, he's better than
ADHD.
Aphrodite's.
You're
He's better
being
than
I'm being
Aphrodite's.
deceitful.
All right, bro.
Um, but yeah,
I
it's
mean,
gonna
it's better than Aphrodite's.
Aphrodite's, yeah. But
Jormungandr.
yeah, Jormungandr. Um, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I feel like Doomguy is going to naturally be put on that support role just because of the fact that you only
Mm-hmm.
have one support in channel. I
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if availability will potentially become a concern for the team just because of the flexibility aspect of how their team is currently set up, where likely maybe they don't need a ringer, but you might have Tetanus playing support one day, and then it's a question of how comfortable is Tetanus on that support role if they need to
Oh,
fill in
as
for
a
it.
yeah, as a PSR for the viewers slash listeners here, this is not pick order. These are randomized.
Oh yeah, these are
So what you're
randomized.
seeing here is not pick order.
Mhm.
I just didn't want people to get the wrong idea. All right, I think we're moving on to.
Oh well, you say they're not pick order. I feel like that was obvious when you had the Yukaro and D Lord from Empyrean for Vermin. I feel like you probably
Yeah.
did. I mean, the champ draft as the first one. Okay, that makes sense. I doubt your last draft you were able to just snipe a champ player for the only other champ in the in the
I don't
division
know. I don't know. From what I heard,
for pick
these
number 7
from what I've heard,
reflects
the
champ.
from what I've heard, the draft was a little scuffed, and that's a bit of an understatement. But we're still
Okay,
moving on. We got Sugo coming here.
yeah, we've got Soulless. That's how I'm gonna say it. And I mean, right off the bat, these
You
guys
have
are
Darkstar,
supposedly
Jubs, Reality, Door, and replacement of Jake, and then
mm-hmm.
Canadian Holiday and Buget. I was talking with Buget about this earlier, and I can put up the screenshot on screen,
Yeah.
um, in post.
Yeah.
When I was talking with Buget about the trade that was made, this trade was made before draft even ended.
Yeah.
Before it was announced. It just didn't get
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't official until after. But I asked him why, and all the response I got was quote, "The why is because I'm building the Avengers, and now I low key have the best two DPS."
I think your
So
audio cut out when you said it, but yes, building the Avengers.
building the Avengers. I trust Buget's decision.
Mm-hmm.
So if he says it's good, I trust him. I trust him.
The
Door's
only
really fun.
things I can
Door's
see right off the bat is
I know Dor does play Lucio a decent amount.
mm-hmm.
He plays a lot of Lucio and Pugs, and he's really good. The only issue is that his crossfade's broken, and I've finished games with him on zero healing.
Oh.
Granted, he's top scoring damage, but still.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yet again, this is a team with a lot of flexibility. I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like we're going to see I mean, you'll have the players that'll probably just either be solid foundations in their lineup or like opening day roster and everything like that, or they'll
Hmm.
be like potential bench options like Jubs and Buget, just because
Hmm.
they don't have the swapping between 1,000 roles type thing. But
Yeah,
that
I
could
agree with
also
that.
just mean that they can really sandwich themselves as a foundation piece for the team. So I'm interested to see what kind of direction it goes on opening day. Who you're going to see as your tank, who and excuse me, who you're going to see as your tank. But even with that, how long are they going to stay as that tank for that opening map? Do they go to map
Yeah,
2 with a different tank? Do they switch up their entire lineup for the next map? Or are they going to have a lineup that's going to be semi consistent for all of the maps? That'll be the interesting
yeah.
thing for
So
Tsukuyomi's.
to wrap up Empyrean here, in order of their averages here, like
Mm-hmm.
their SR
Their
averages, we
SR
got Suko.
averages.
Our top three we have is Suko with 4.26, Vermin with 4.2, and Eros with 4.14. So it's really close. Our lowest one is Amit's at 3.8. So we still have a pretty close like range here. It's not super spaced out, which is nice to see. I
Right.
know the division doesn't really allow for that, but still,
Well,
uh, I'm glad to not see 5K in there. It'd be a little scary.
I mean, it does kind of allow for it because it's Masters Plus. So, like,
If they were that high, they'd most likely be just looking for face it. To be honest with you.
yeah, realistically, yes. But
Alrighty,
this is the
I
one where you could likely see
yeah
a big difference in terms of SR, and it's
yeah
nice to see that it's not such a like,
wide gap.
yeah.
I'm really hoping for some tight games in Empyrean.
Mhm.
All right, moving on. We have Ascendant. We got to
Ascendant,
look at here, starting with Arrows,
yeah.
a 3.4 team.
They have a mix of both Cleo and Icy. Reading through my
Hmm.
notes, and I'm looking for Icy with two E's. I think I might have just been a typo, but they were essentially running the um, Elysium team Nords tied last season,
Okay.
and we're given full control of of the team this season supposedly. And they got to
Okay.
third place without a lot of scrimming. Right off the bat, you look at this team; they have a lot of flex heroes or flex players. You've got your support lineup basically set up with Cleo, Cat, and Anti Healer. Um, Sunline's probably going to play a fair bit of the DPS. Might be kind of a bench support thing, not fully sure. Um, Akuma could go from DPS, they could go to tank, but you have multiple flexes in Ice Pika, Collapse, and Jackal. So,
Hmm.
you know, kind of a good mix where you have your key players in certain roles with the flexibility that you can move around if you need, dependent on maps and compositions that you're looking to play.
Yeah. All right. I agree with that. I don't really have much to say there. We're gonna move on to Loki's.
Correct, is basically.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's not much for me to comment on there.
Also, just take the opportunity while we're there as well to mention Collapse. Very good,
Collapse is really
very
good,
good
yeah. I
player.
was gonna say both Akuma and Collapse are really good.
Yeah, Collapse. Also a part of Nebula as a director. So
That does
yeah,
not surprise me.
yeah. But yeah,
A
Loki's
lot.
Deceit.
We got Newport's a very well known member of the community. We got Newport's over there.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Um,
it
again,
they
just
should not be.
flex.
Yeah,
It's just
this is
flex.
not Loki's Deceit. This is Loki's flex off. Like,
No, it's just no, it's a deceit. I bet half these players are going to be playing one role the whole time, but
probably.
they're just gonna be flex on paper.
Yeah, theoretical flex. Unless Festus just jumps out on tank on the first game, that's the true deceit.
He's a well,
Being the DPS support.
if his card is anything correct, he just might.
Well, they are also a returning champ.
Yeah,
And apparently, also worth mentioning,
we have three of those on here actually
yeah, 3 returning champs and 5 returning
on one
members.
team.
The
Yeah,
division that they had
I think this
won,
team's gonna look good, and
it will look good. The thing that is worth mentioning, the division that they had won was Elysium,
Elysium.
Elysium, sorry, which was 3 ranks lower than what Ascendant was. So they will have that team collaboration and coordination aspects basically good and confirmed
They'll be starting off like on a much stronger
on a
foot
much
than some of
stronger
these
foot,
other
yes.
teams,
But it'll be
just due to
interesting
the
to
fact that they know
see.
each other.
It'll be interesting to
And then
see if the.
Mensa's a very well known FM.
Mhm.
So he's like an actual coach. So I feel like Loki's across all divisions, but especially in like Ascendant and Empyrean are going to be performing very strong compared to their counterparts.
Right. The only thing I wonder is if it's a situation where they feel too confident coming into it with, I mean, returning champ, the whole feet too big for the boots they're trying to fill thing, or the boots too. I know what I'm
Boots
trying to
too
say.
big for the feet.
Yeah,
The boots are
the boots they're
they're
trying to
getting
fill are too big for the feet they have. Basically,
yeah
I'm curious to see if in this different division where it's a little bit of a rank difference from what they were in a previous championship position, if the
yeah.
rank differential will become a factor for them, or if it's going to be something that they're going to be able to just work through right off the bat.
All right. Yeah. I think we're yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we
I'm in the
covered
middle.
that pretty well. I feel like we covered that pretty well. I know that my I don't want to say co-host because technically I wish I should probably be the co-host in this case, but I know that my duo part in this case has a
All
little
right, I'm
preoccupied
back.
at the time. There you go.
I'm back. My my mother wanted me to set a
Yeah, it's all
timer
right.
so that way she could get her tater tots.
Ah,
Well, I can get her
gotcha,
tater tots out of the thing because she's gonna run to the bank.
gotcha.
Alrighty,
Jormungandr
viewers, you
supports.
didn't hear anything. You
It's
didn't
fine.
hear anything. Anyway, all right.
Yeah, Jormungandr
So
supports. However, I will say, not actually all of them are supports. They're mostly flex players. It's just everybody.
it's just a
It's just
bit.
everyone is supports
It's
and
a
tank.
it's it's a bit that that Ginger cooked up, and I think it's pretty funny.
POV the American healthcare system. One tank. POV the Canadian healthcare system. Six supports.
Truth, Nick.
No,
Well,
but
yeah, it's. I mean, you're right. It's six supports, except you have like a 6 month waiting period to get some help over a cold.
yeah, true. I mean,
Not even for something serious.
right
All
off of the
right.
bat, they're kind of slotted as potentially like a middle of the pack team. No disrespect or anything like that. It's going to be interesting to see, though. I know a lot of them are listed as flex, but um, how it progresses. Um, which players are going to be slotted into which roles? Is it just going to be flex all the way around, or is it actually going to be um, Rin, as an example, being locked into the DPS jail after a period of time? Things like that. It'll be interesting to see. What I can say is from personal experience as well as someone who was drafted into Jormungandr in a lower division, a lot of the people here have pretty good vibes. They're good, like open to jokes and stuff like that. So I feel like it'll
it's
be a
it's it's
good
it's
a
definitely
good
good to hear.
dynamic.
It's definitely good to hear a team have good vibes. You always worry with every team
Mm-hmm.
that you're gonna have people who don't really get along, which I know is a concern with one of the teams. So I'm glad to hear that so far, at least, Jormungandr has been a pretty good home for
Yeah, I feel like
the
they're
the
pretty.
free spirited goofballs.
Yeah, I feel like they're pretty fun. I mean, I got quoted today from them in the
That's
quotes
good to
channel.
hear.
But I mean,
All
yeah,
right.
I feel like there'll be good vibes. I feel like one of
Who
their
are we
strengths
on next?
will
Sorry,
probably
go
be
ahead.
Aphrodite, but I feel like one of their strengths for Jormungandr is going to be the mental side of things. I feel like this will be a team that is not going to be as prone to tilting potentially. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I there's definitely some issues with that in my previous team with
mhm.
our tank getting tilted. Or not our tank, sorry, our one of our players getting tilted, so there's definitely some issues there. We have
Fair.
we have Ligmass.
Oh yeah, who was for Aphrodite?
Ligmass. His
Yeah,
name yeah, his name is Ligmass.
yeah. Um,
Uh, it's just
kind of
Ligmass.
kind of an interesting team right off the bat. I feel like you kind of see an immediate
Yeah,
combo,
Kiri Lou off the
Kiri
bat
Lou right
here.
off the bat makes sense. And I mean, Cryptic as
If
one of
they're
them showed up to every
honestly,
tryout. Do you have a
if they're
life?
able If they're able to do a Kirilu Juno Brig between the
between the two of
flex
them.
and support. Well, no, we
Oh yeah,
have
true. You have multiple
Rob
flexes.
plays supports. Rob plays support as well.
Hmm.
Most of their roster plays support, other
Yeah,
than Talus. Talus is the only one who can't play support in this.
right.
So I definitely can see this if they're able to get honestly if they're just able to get the Kirilu and then Gino Brig. If they're able to get those two down for their support lineup, I think they can perform pretty well. I believe Raw plays Wu Yang in his spare time,
Potentially.
so they can do Lulu or Wulu, whatever.
Lulu,
Wulu. Yeah,
what's
I mean
this?
Wulu. It's they could do Wulu as well, and that'll work pretty well.
Lulu, what's this? Notices your Ajax.
Okay, all right, bro. All right, bro.
No, but I feel
You're
like this
getting
team
kicked
is set up.
off. You're getting kicked. You're
Yeah.
getting kicked. I'm hitting you,
Welcome to my
dude.
first
You.
episode and last episode of the playoff of the podcast. No, but
My new
yeah.
co-host, Rob.
No, I feel like the team is going to be set up in a very good way. They have enough players that they can use as anchors, and they have enough flexibility as well with their roster. Where if they want to go a different route and really switch up the dynamic, they have the manpower to do so. Where they're not necessarily locking themselves into any specific compositions. So I feel like
Yeah,
they're set up in a really good position despite being a bit of a wild card team so far.
yeah, I agree. All right, we're on. Uh,
Amaterasu,
it's a
right?
weird. It's Japanese. That's
Sun
close. It's
Guard.
Japanese. It's yeah. It's
It's Sun Guard.
whatever.
Yeah.
I know Muff is pretty much Forgetful's really good. Muff Mart, I've heard some really good things about. I haven't heard much about these other guys here. Maybe some in our notes we got going on.
Well, I mean,
Oh right, this is Bona's team. I
yeah,
forgot. This is Bona's team. We have two Lucio players on this team that quote love environmental kills and Ajaxing. So I want to see some funny clips from this team over the season.
yeah, this team will be fun to watch. It's going to be interesting though. I'm
And
curious to
Bard
see how
hates
this
me
will go.
apparently.
Oh,
And Bard hates me apparently, as we can tell by the very much accurate card here. You know, Genji is Bay hater, and my name's not even spelled right, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I understand.
but if I will take the opportunity to make a little bit of a joke here and say, hopefully Brexit doesn't do the same as what their name actually has done in real life, and hopefully they don't tear apart this team from the inside.
Alrighty, now we are on Dionysus. I can't.
I know.
Dionysus. Oh my
But this
god,
is going to be a fun
Dionysus.
team to watch. There's a good mix of people here from Dead on Revival and
Yeah.
Mythos
Yeah,
team
DOR
Mythos.
DOR is a really solid Nebula at work.
Yeah, these teams are going to have a lot of synergy coming out of the gate. Um,
Mandu,
Wilrus and
Will,
Frequency
Frequency.
being high SR scrim experience, on top
Oh
of just
yeah.
good draft picks in general. Um, this team can very well be a top runner in Ascendant.
We also can't forget Voyant here.
Oh, Voyant is also a
The
great,
returning
and
champ
Mandu.
here.
Honestly, Mandu has been doing pretty
No,
good.
Mandu's great. I mentioned that earlier. It's
Mhm.
they have a returning champ in this division, I believe.
Mhm.
And
Potentially.
then Reaper and Cuddles actively Q comped, so
Mhm.
they have I think they're gonna have some great synergy because Frequency already plays with Will.
Right.
And then Mandu plays a lot of scrim. So I think
Mhm.
this team overall has a lot of players that just play with each other already.
Yeah,
So I
I
think that's
am
going to help a
curious to
lot with
see.
the early experience.
Right, early on they'll have that synergy that's going to be able to give them a lot of momentum. I'm curious to see if Mondu is going to end up becoming the main tank for this team. As while they are listed as a flex and you have other flex options, with, I mean, frequency being able to play the tank as well,
It's
I find Mondu with that preferred hero showing the Zarya leads me to suspect that there
frequency.
might be a world where Mondu is going to end up being the opening day tank choice.
I can see Mondu being opening day tank because I know first map is guaranteed Lijiang.
Hmm.
So I think Mondu is going to perform better there, but I feel like frequency, if they lose that Lijiang game, is going to try to take him to Gibraltar, and he's just going to lobby admin that game. Frequency's
Yeah,
really good on Diva, and Hazard and those more dive heavy characters, and Gibraltar plays really well into that. I
yeah.
might be a little biased because Frequency's my coach, but still, I've seen his gameplay and a lot of it, and he's really good on Diva. That Diva is really strong, and I think teams are going to struggle against him.
So honestly, this would be a team that I
This
would
also has a lot
look
of
at primarily.
also SR. Isn't this the highest SR team
I
in
believe this might be. Let
Demi?
me check. This is not
And
Demi, this is Ascendant. But they would be the
yeah, it's
highest SR
Ascendant.
team at a
They're
3.6
3.6.
average. Following
Yeah.
that is Aphrodite and Sunguard. Um,
They're
lowest being
they have a lot of
Jormungandr, but
masters.
yeah, they do have a lot of master players.
Jormungandr.
I was told
I'm a,
Jormungandr.
you know what? You sit over there with your Dionysus.
That wasn't even me that said it. It was somebody
All
else.
right, now to Demis. We're moving
Right.
on. Fun fact before we
uh,
get started, we have four teams that are tied. We have Loki's and Eros's, which are tied at 3.16, and then Freya's and Pomegranate at 3.06. Just
mhm.
thought that was funny to mention looking at the sheet here.
And I mean,
Let's
might
start
as
with
well
Freya's,
mention
though.
while we have the opportunity, these
Hmm.
teams are the, well, this division is the most compact division in terms of SR ranges out there,
Yeah, I'm looking at this.
because
I'm looking at this
your
here. Demi, like
lowest
their
SR
range, they
is
have point. They
3,000. Your highest is
Yep.
3,160. So this is literally SR ranges like exactly to Diamond 5, Diamond 4
Yeah, I'm really
for the
excited to
max
see this
facilities.
these teams. Let's start with Freya's though.
Yeah, we'll start with Freya's. Flip the cards for Freya's.
We have Nico. I'll played a lot with Nico. He's really fun to play with. I think Nico's really like a strong person
Hmm.
character. I didn't mean him as a person. Nico's really consistent, which I think is really good. I've had a lot of consistency with Nico, good mental.
Hmm.
Um I don't have much opinions on the other guys here. They were never really active when Demi and Mortal Trials had to get mixed because of player counts, but Nico was always there. I think Nico showed up to
Fair.
every single one actually.
Yeah, I mean, even I've spent a fair bit of time playing with Nico, and Nico's a rival for me. So
Yeah,
I'm not even I don't even play with them in this, you know, div, but it's going to be a good. I feel like this team has really good potential. They might have a little bit of a rough time getting their footing to start off. I feel like they have a lot of high potential players, but I feel like they need to make some solidifying picks, maybe make some trades, and really put themselves up in a position where they can amplify the potential on some of their key players. I think that's going to be a
yeah.
big thing. A
I
lot of these
believe
guys have
I believe
flexibility.
Freya's. I believe isn't Freya's support lineup their FM and FC?
I believe it is.
Let me look here.
From what
Yep,
I
it is.
know, it is.
Yeah, so they're running their Forge Master and Commander as their support lineup. Uh, I definitely can see some trades, as you said, coming in here to try and like space that out, but I can also see this team working overall.
Yeah, I feel like it might just be a situation where they might take a little bit to get their footing, mainly because of the fact that there is so much flexibility on this team that it's going to be a situation where they probably start off trying to figure out where that flexibility is going to, like, what compositions they can make with all of these flexible players to put themselves
Hmm.
in positions where they're going to win. Because as much as flexibility is a benefit, if there is flexibility but there's no like solidified
Core, yeah.
core, you'll kind of, as much as you can
The
switch
team will
people,
just
but it,
fall apart
yeah.
at a breeze.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on here. Arrows. Um, just looking straight out here, their support lineup is literally their FM and FC.
Yeah.
I know Bike and Mythic are and Mystic are have those roles.
Hmm. And that
Um,
you have to
it's
rely on them to show up for supports. Just end of day. Which, I mean,
yeah.
if anyone is going to show up all the time, it's going to be them.
Scorpion. Yeah, Scorpion. Cap's really good. I don't remember if they're consistent or not. Scorpion, I think is my favorite player to gaslight. I think they're my favorite one. They're really fun to gaslight. They're gonna love hearing me say that.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of them play tank,
Very tank heavy.
but I'm definitely expecting trades from
Yeah.
Arrows here. I think they can use the fact they have so many tank players to their advantage here.
Hmm.
They can swap away maybe Scorpion because both AJ and Scorpion only play tank, so which means that they have to split time.
Yeah. And then, I mean, you have
Excuse me.
Cap, who's also DPS and tank. So
Yeah,
you have
I can see one of them being traded out here for another support, maybe.
potentially. Um, However, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the team is set up in a way where they can work. I'm curious to see how they're able to adapt come early on, because I feel if I look at the fact they don't have a lot of supports, sure, that can be a good thing, that can be a bad thing. If Mystic ugh, and Bike, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I kept
Bike.
seeing it as BLK for some reason, but um
I think it's Bike. I'm not really too worried about it.
I think it we'll blame it on the font. But them showing up all the time, that's going to help. But with this team, if they get to a point where both Mystic and Bike are being countered every map, like are getting countered, they're being put in situations or positions where they just cannot play the game, and they have no ability to maybe rely on another person to come in for support, that might be a difficult part. So I'm
I agree.
interested to see like how the team adapts over time if they get into struggles early on.
Yeah. All right, I'll be right back. I gotta to
Yep.
get the stuff out of the oven.
Well, while they do that, I might as well at least take a little bit of a look at Pomegranate. So right off the bat, Pomegranate, 2 supports, 3 DPS, a tank, and a DPS support mix. Um, a lot of good people set on specific roles. You have Lupinade and your DPS kind of line that you'll likely see set up guaranteed. Like these DPS are good foundational pieces. Badger and Dahawk, also good like foundational or fundamental pieces. Hanzo TF, probably going to be your tank primary. Very well can be a team that is going to have the heroes that they want for their flexibility. The only thing that I can say is maybe they look to trade a spare DPS or someone like that to look for another tank option. Not to give any downside to Hanzo TF, but I feel having the ability to have a tank backup that has some more flexibility in hero
Sure.
pools. I don't know their hero pool specifically, but having another tank option that you can go to if Hanzo is just having a bad day can help out a team tremendously. And right off the bat, you know you're going to have at least one DPS on the bench,
Yeah.
potentially two. So maybe trading a player that only plays DPS to look for somebody who can come in as a substitute tank if you feel Hanzo is not having the best of a start, may be a good option. But this team also has a lot of coachability.
Hmm.
If they take to
I'd
coaching,
agree.
I feel like they have the right pieces to become a, playoff level caliber team and really, you know, fight for a championship.
Yep. All right. Next up, we
You agree
got.
with that? All right.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what I heard. I
All
agree.
right. Well, that
If there's something,
brings us
if
over to
there's something,
Aphrodite's.
yeah,
I guess I soloed that team, but here we go. So, Aphrodite's, you have your primary supports right off the bat, from what I can tell. You've got DPR and Big Green. They were a support duo for Jason's Argonauts last season, so they're kind of a duo right off the bat. Mango is likely going to be the primary tank. Lore and Spade might end up splitting time on tank as needed. Not
yeah.
necessarily confirmed, but could split time as needed. And I mean, you got Mew Jr., DPS support, and Zap DPS. More than likely, if I had to take a guess, I would assume that Spade and Lore might end up being put in a situation where one of them is going to become a tank flex primary, and one of them will likely be a DPS support fill primary, just based off of the team composition.
Yeah.
Makes sense? All right.
Yeah. Yeah. As we get lower and lower, there's the less and less to talk. You loaded up Aphrodite again.
Yeah,
Okay.
just to show it once more. But here we go. There's Biscuit.
We got Biscuit, our great Biscuit man. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the hitting us with the Aphrodite special.
God, not Aphrodite. But I mean,
We have Saucepan who has has said that they will be Alari one tricking this season.
that'll be interesting. Um, I'm I'm more key in tune and curious to see how, with all of these flexible players, with flex and then specific roles, who's going to be put where? What roles are players going to stick into for this first like opening day matches? And then
Hmm.
following that, are you looking at trades? Is this a team that's going to potentially be a trade heavy contender? Or is this going to be a team that's going to try and take their opening roster, this opening 7-player comp, or like, you know, 7-player draft, and set some of these flex players into specific roles?
Hmm.
Is Funyun going to just become one of their primary DPS? Is JJ going to be put as one of their supports and primarily just, Lucio jail?
Yeah.
Is Whiskey going to be maybe moved over to play tank if Hantar can't? Things like that are going to be interesting to see early on. I feel like they have very strong fundamental players. The question is going to be how to slot them in positions where they can thrive the best.
Yeah. Now we're moving on to your team,
Jormungandrs, yeah. And I can provide.
Demi. We have Caustic right here.
Yeah, I made
I'll
it.
let you take the floor on this one, bud.
Okay, well, right off the tank, right off the bat, you see Zerv, you see Tank, you see Ball. More than likely, Zerv is going to be playing Ball, right? This team's kind of going to be set up around a Ball comp a fair bit, but they also have a little bit of flexibility. I mean, Zerv and JJ, both teammates on Ra's Phoenixes for the Aura division, or Aru division, sorry. Aura division, damn.
The Aura division.
But the
I
way
mean,
this team is set
it
up,
has all the letters. It has all the
yeah,
letters for it. You
you
just
just need
wrong
to be
order.
dyslexic, yeah.
Truth, Nick. Truth, Nick.
But yeah, this team has a lot.
Everything means $1 million. Everything means $1 million if you're dyslexic enough.
Mm-hmm. This team has a lot of mechanically skilled players, which is why a lot of these players are going to be set on specific roles. Like you have Nope on the support, you have Zomo on the support, you have both Jesse James and JJ on these DPS things. A lot of this team is set on mechanics primarily. So you're going to have your locked down staple players, but you also have good flexibility in both Dragon and myself, not to toot my own horn, but Dragon and myself being players that can switch roles as needed and fill on those potential roles. So you'll have your team comp, and kind of going back to a previous team I had mentioned, you're going to have your core of players who are going to have the most time practicing with each other and everything like that, where if something happens and I don't know, Nope isn't able to make it, well, you throw in Dragon, you throw in myself, you have us play a Kiriko or something like that. Even if we're not the primary Kiriko the team is used to, the rest of the team is still the same as what it would normally be. So it's not going to be as jarring of an adjustment to make. You're not going to have to adjust your playstyle around 4 other different heroes or different players. It's just one that's been changed.
I know Dragon's a really good hog. I do know that.
Mm-hmm.
I've played into a Dragon's hog a few times. It is oppressive.
Yeah. And I mean, that's also another good thing. You have someone like Dragon who can flex in all. It's nice because Dragon, along with the flexibility, can be put as a multi-role player and set up to be a secondary tank right off the bat if needed. If that ball is just really getting punished and you need to make a change, well, Dragon comes in, plays different tanks. You can make that adjustment before you feel it's like too late. But yeah, that's Demigods. The most tight knit division.
Yeah.
Short 5-minute break that we had took. We're gonna get started with Mythos now, and joining us we have Alec as well.
Hello.
So another person here to provide maybe some more insight on areas that both me and Aphelion might not have that much info on, but at least to get started, let's take a look at Osiris to begin. They've got a pretty good composition. I know that they have statistically one of the lower SR teams in the division. But with that, you have a mix of new and experienced players with coachability. So, despite the fact that they're low SR now, coaching and stuff like that could turn this team into a very good contender in Mortals, especially with, some players being on support or silver ranks. They definitely have the possibility with coaching to elevate mechanically and go up to gold or plat or, those type of ranks. On the plus side, they also have some really good experienced players. You have Endme, who is a Nebula Season 1 tank role star and a Grand Finals champion from that division in Div 5. And you have Mod Hobbs, who is a really good shot caller. So this team is likely going to be very well coordinated in comms to start off, which is going to be nice for this type of team.
I do want to add that Mal is also very experienced, has been playing in draft leagues for quite a while now, has a lot of game knowledge and comms, as well as Palestris coming back from last season, who is someone to keep an eye on, especially with the ball team. That Palestris' Moira just being able to go into the back line and pick off people who are not expecting the flanking Moira. I think this is going to be a really exciting team to watch.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Nobody expects the flanking Moira.
The crazy Irish woman, yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, that just about sums it up for Osiris. Let's take a look over at Aphrodite. You have a good mix right off the bat. I mean, you have Genji's Bay,
You know, and right here, hi.
Aphelion, yep. So, I mean, I don't want to necessarily send the spotlight over directly to you right away, but what are your thoughts as someone who's been present with this team? You know, what do you think so far?
We haven't had much of a chance to get a group together. I believe they have a scrim scheduled for Saturday, but they scheduled the scrim for like one of the only days I couldn't show up. So I'm probably able to show up to that. But I have, since I've been on the team, I've queued with Lucio, and they're pretty cool to hang out with. Got some good vibes.
I mean, vibes are kind of one of the main things that teams look for because you can teach, um, mechanics and game sense and things like that. It's a lot harder to teach vibes and you know
It's
personality for
hard. It's hard to
teams.
teach someone. It's hard to teach someone a good mental.
Exactly.
Sure.
But I mean, they have a good amount of cornerstone heroes and cornerstone players when you think of it. I mean, we've talked a bit
I
about with other divisions. Sorry, my voice is going to get rough here, but we've talked about it a bit with other divisions where you'll have players who kind of solidify themselves into key positions or cornerstone pieces that you'll see for a lot of maps, and then you have the players that are more flexible that will kind of adjust if team comps need to be changed or approaches need to be changed. For a team like Aphrodite, right off the bat, I mean, you have Lucio, you've got Goldie Sloth, and you got Riku, who are just, their one role. So right off the bat, they don't have to worry about the same thing that you might see with other players, where they're trying to spread their time amongst other roles and kind of stay consistent. They can stay consistent with the one role that they have and really try and lock down their game plans with that role.
Yeah, play the game, play that one thing so consistently.
Right.
if I were to guess, I think this is the team that is currently going to come out ahead uh, in the initial uh, part of the season. Uh, One thing to be noted is that Avanu did not show and got traded with the player known as Cal or 120.23.45. It's a
Okay.
very interesting name.
And I guess before Aphelion mentions like any of the current plans that they have for the team in terms of like opening day roster and stuff like that, with the amount of flexibility this team has, they're very well set up in a position where the team that you see on the first week, the positions that people play, the roles people play on that first week, can very well shift between weeks. So, I mean, what you see from them on that opening roster might not necessarily be the exact same team comp and roles and things like that that you'll eventually see later on when it comes to like playoffs. So yeah, they have a lot of flexibility, which will be good.
Are,
And I mean, with the trade as well, it's still early enough that they have the ability to kind of work with Cal and get that team coordination and that build up that team
um,
coordination. I know which word I'm trying to think of, but more or less that team cooperativeness, and they can really add Cal into this early dynamic so that they don't feel left behind come later on if you were to trade for a player, let's say week 5, and they have this whole new set of players that they have to get familiar with and all that. So the early trade I feel is good for them.
I agree. But Alec had something to say.
what's the starting line? Are you starting on tank?
I am, yeah.
Oh, nice. That does make sense because Aurelia I've only seen on Ram and Sigma. Uh, I know Deadonk is not a poke player. Cal is a tracer. So if you are going for something more rush divey, I think you would have more synergy in that area.
Especially since I, have a comp that I really want to run, and I've been asking advice on how to play into it. So I know what I got to look out for. That's
They've
totally
got
not what
stuff
I've been
cooking
doing.
is the best way to put it.
Oh, I've got stuff cooking. My team's
They've
gonna
been in
see
the
what that
lab.
stuff is come. Yeah, I've been cooking. I might burn down the kitchen though. We'll see.
All
But
right, so
one last note I do want to say is
go for it.
Dedong is a returning champion. They won the our division with Nerthus. They are a very fun player to watch if you do get to catch a match of theirs. Just go into the comments and ask them just to spectate Dedong because like they are one of the most fun players to watch. It's just like especially if they get on that Symmetra. Their mechanics are just like so smooth. It's so practiced.
Okay,
So you're telling me the methodical
nice.
character is played by a methodical player.
That
If the shoe fits, I guess.
yeah,
But yeah,
if the
that sounds
shoe
really
fits.
interesting. I'm really interested to see that.
Yeah, so I mean, with that, might as well take a look at Dionysus as well.
You mean Dionysus? Sorry, I'm never gonna let that go.
Yeah, we're never gonna let that meme die.
Dionysus. No, I'm just gonna keep beating
Dionysus,
it
yeah.
like a dead horse.
So I mean, right off the bat, um, a lot of flexibility. Most of this team is flex players, with the exception of your Sleepy Bear. Um, but from the info that I do have, the team was originally looking at two primary selections for the draft, being Killer Queen and A7X. So I feel like those two players are going to end up being very core pieces to uh, Dionysus's plans. I mean, they're best friends, as you see from the tags. I feel like they're going to be one of those core duos that you'll see um, in teams. It's going to be interesting to see how the team is going to flesh out. I mean, you have some players that are maybe lower in SR who have the willingness and the eagerness to kind of improve their gameplay, and coaching is going to be very beneficial for this team early on. I'm curious to see with how much flexibility where people are going to end up being put.
Sure, I think they have a strong draft plan coming in. A7 and Queen are like a comp duo, played for a long time, and if you can just get that synergy, especially on like that main combo of tank DPS, you can hit the ground running. I do want to highlight Twilight, who is very new to like organized play, but seems very motivated to uh, look at where they can improve, and I think they're going to be a player that like ends up in a much more like skilled spot than they are right now, And then there's Junior, who um, is kind of an enigma. All last season, they kind of bounce between here and there. We never really got to see truly what Junior can do. So I'm very excited to see Junior on a solid team and to see where they shine.
Yeah, I
I
mean that's
agree.
pretty fair. So Twilight kind of being that up and coming player, I guess would be the best way to put it. Which will be fun to watch. I mean, it gives you a bit of a perspective, and it's always nice to see how a player progresses throughout the season as well. So definitely feels like a pretty good team. Once they figure out where they want to put people who are all listed as flex, I feel like they get stuff solidified and locked in place,
I did.
and the team has a lot of
I
potential.
never looked at their roles. You're absolutely right. It's literally five. It's
Yeah,
literally like six flex players.
6 flex players, 1 mercy. So, well, I say 1 mercy. That's their preferred hero, but yeah, the amount of flexibility will just be interesting to see where players get locked into in terms of positions or roles and things like that.
Hmm.
But following that, we'll take a look at Loki's deceit. I almost said descent. I'm going to descend into madness like Sigma.
Deset. Yeah, you said Deset yesterday too.
Yeah, cassette. We'll go with that one instead. But I
No,
mean,
so you're just old now.
yes. But I mean, looking right off the bat, you have, your 2 DPS locked players, your 2 support locked players. You have the flexibility that you're probably looking for with, um, Honey Ginny being that DPS support option and Viper DPS tank having, the flexibility if needed if you feel comps aren't working out to your favor right off the bat. But I mean, right off the bat, first things that I see for this type of team, um, Silent is a player that has been coached from other people in the server, if I'm not mistaken. Likely will be one of the highlight players in terms of like mechanical skill coming off of the bat. So it'll be interesting to see how big of an impact they can make early on.
You think we'll have a part two on Texas Venture?
Maybe, very well
I
possible.
I, I really hope to see that.
Mm-hmm. A lot
I
of these
think that'll
players
be
are up
really
and
fun.
coming, but they also have players that have past experience. Zilly Ace, as an example, I've heard their name before in Nebula from the previous season. So you do have players that will have that experience. Um, Coaching is obviously going to be an interesting factor for teams in this division. I'm interested to see how maybe players like Viper improve, as if I'm not mistaken, Islander has had a kid recently. So, obviously with that, availability will be a question, but I mean, it's understandable. You have a kid, they they will take up a lot of your free
You
time
should just
with
you should just teach
valid
the infant
reason.
how to play TF2. You got to raise them right.
Start duo queuing with your child.
It'd be
No, but
peak. Honestly, I would. If I had a kid and they were old enough to play games, I totally would. I would
fair.
just disable like voice chat and stuff on their account.
Fair enough. But I mean, obviously, you have a kid. Your availability, your free time is obviously going to be, um,
A lot less, yeah.
yeah, less than what it would have been without. But I
I can
mean,
agree.
having a kid is a big
I've
thing.
taken
So
my father away from the game once or twice
yeah,
back in my
but
time.
I mean, obviously, we wish Islander the best of luck with
No, of
everything.
course.
So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, pieces are going to move here and there. That's why I kind of look at Viper or Honey Ginny as maybe filling in on Islanders' supposed roster slot, depending on availability that happens to show up.
Yeah, this is a very solid team. On top of Islander, who and Silent Ace, who I think are going to be top of the division. Zolko, Viper, and Angel are also a very solid, good picks. Um, but yeah, I think Silent Ace is going to be the one to watch. From what I've heard, they might be the spiciest pick in this division.
All right, let's go over to Arrows. Right off of the bat for Arrows, I mean, you have a lot of flexibility in good ranges. I mean, you have your DPS slash tank heroes, you've got your support heroes. Um, DPS support mix is always nice to have when you have people that will probably be flexing into positions like tank. It's really nice. A lot of flexibility for this team. From what I can tell, there are a fair amount of players who aren't yet to have made a big name for themselves yet in this league, if I'm not mistaken.
Um,
But yeah, the only
Yeah.
returning people are Bayonet and Warhead.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Everybody else is a rookie in this community. Although I will note that if I were to, like point at the stands a little bit, give my prediction, I think Spyro is going to be rookie of the season. Uh, just from watching them in tryouts, they seem to have a really good understanding of the game, just not the full fundamentals to utilize it. I expect them to just end up being,
oh,
probably they might even just get to demis before the season end. What when
You
I
can, but
saw
yeah, fair.
when I saw Spyro in tryout, you usually kind of see the same type of play in these divisions. Like you kind of get used to playing with, you know, the type of people that you are, uh, playing with. But Spyro was doing the thing that you typically see only in like Diamond Plus on support, which is just trying to kill people and kind of ignoring like not looking to constantly heal your team. And they were doing a really good job with killing the enemy team. So I'm expecting if they, put a little time on Kiri.
like
Yeah,
supports make or break a team.
I was about to say the supports can make or break a team just with how well they can enable people to perform with their chosen heroes. I think Spyro will be. I do agree, probably a potential rookie of the year candidate. Um, I'm curious to see how well coaching will elevate them as a player because they already have a good amount of talent and um, good perspective on certain things, as you had mentioned, Alec. So I'm very interested to see.
Yeah, that's fair. I think a lot of I agree with you about the not always looking at teammates. I see that a lot of just in I think there was a few teams that had that issue in Nebula. From what I remember in Div 5, it was a really big issue.
Escape the heal bot tendencies.
Yeah, the heal botting was an issue sometimes.
But all right, with that, that just leaves the Solus team for Mythos.
Yummy.
Tsukuyomi. So right off the bat, they have the highest SR in the Mortals ranking. They
Do
have a
they? I thought
lot.
it was Aphrodite's that had the highest.
After calculating it, I think they're third, but uh,
They're
there's a
second.
couple
Sorry,
factors.
they're second.
Or uh, there that's
Actually
also a
no.
mistake if you look at the numbers.
Actually, yeah, no. The spreadsheet is wrong. They are third.
You mean yeah, the 40 KSR team, yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say that between Stormy and Iconic Murph, they might just have the highest SR, like true SR, because Stormy uh, is already Plat 1, which is like right on the edge of the division, and is just has been, at the top of these division teams for quite a while now. I they During tryouts they were very dominant. Just at lobby adminning with whoever was behind them, and I think is going to be a very dominant force in this division, as well as Iconic Murph, who is a very good hit scan player. They've kind of been playing rivals for a while and have just now stepped back into Overwatch. So I think they as well should be valued a little bit higher than they are. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see what Saucepan does with this team because I think there's a lot of really good options here. It's just how you execute it.
I do find it funny though, just looking at the icons and tags and stuff for a lot of the people, just seeing like chose to be here, the mainest of main supports,
Don't let him near a
resident
sunny day.
Malaysian.
Don't let him near a
Storm
sunny day.
Yeah.
Stormies has played in like the lowest league of their draft league for like the past, including other servers, like the past 4 or 5 seasons, and they always end up on top. They always end up like first or second, uh, but they just keep on coming back. I think they just like it here.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I've felt pretty welcomed here.
So yeah, I mean, like, very good potential for the team. I feel like team synergy will be the main factor for them. I mean, as presumably previously stated. With a lot of teams, I feel like synergy becomes a primary factor for a team's success. And I guess just on a little bit of a side note before we finish off with Mortals, a cool fact: each team has had at least one member returning from last season's Aru division. So, yeah.
That's an interesting fact. So we a lot of Div 5 is returning players.
Yeah, and I mean, you're also
Or
seeing a fair bit of overlap between players here who maybe joined recently and players that have experience in other leagues. So, very fun to watch. Will be fun to watch how stuff goes for a lot of these teams.
alrighty. Alec, do you have any comments that you'd like to make, possibly about other divisions, like other players in the other divisions?
I think y'all will have done a good job with the other divisions. I don't think I have anything that I need to throw in here at the end. Um, one thing I will say is like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Very important. As well as if you are in the main channel, if you go to the rules tab, there is a coaching role as well as a ringer role. Uh, if you would like to be considered for those, uh, please hit the React role thing, and you'll be on the list and potentially contacted about it.
Yeah, we're always looking for new players. Maybe you play a season and then you want to run a team. I'm sure that can be figured out.
Yeah, I mean,
For
well
sure.
said.
If you have no idea who any of these people are, what Mythos is, there's probably going to be a link in the description. Come join up, can play with us.
Yeah, and with that, thank you for watching.